All right, let's do a quick little tech check. Can you hear me? Drop it in the chat. Perfect. All right, I'm glad you all can hear me. Welcome everyone to the monthly recap for October. Today we're going to discuss some of the newest features that recently came out in October, as well as some of the new features that are going to be coming out for the rest of the year and in the future. A lot today is going to be talking about our new billing feature. So if you haven't learned about it, I'm excited to talk about that today. So let's see, we got about almost 100 people in the room. Yes, Vicky, I'm excited about the proposals and engagements as well. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to show you how that's going to look, and how we'll probably be releasing that in the next 4 weeks, potentially. So we got about 100 people. Let's go ahead and get started. Uh, let's see, let's share my screen. All right. So before we jump into billing, there hasn't been a lot of new updates because we've been really focused on releasing billing proposals and a lot of these other features. But release that's wildly requested is the ability for your clients to see the status of work in the portal. So now you can have client-facing work statuses. And how this works is when you're managing your tags, so you're creating new tags, whether it's here or here, right? You click this, you'll now see a new option called visible to client. So you can choose which statuses you want your client to be able to see. So you can see we have some selected here, right? And when you do that, when that works, like this client onboarding project has that tag on it, the client will be able to see it if that request is visible in the portal. So I've sent a client request. Let's actually go to the portal. I'll show you what this actually looks like. Now, from the client side, when the client is viewing this portal, they'll be able to see the tag waiting on a client. So if you have like waiting on client and review and process, plans, all of that will now show in the portal if you want it. So your client doesn't have to call you for updates. They can actually see where the work stands. And this includes like, let's say to complete the request, they would still be able to see this item and the status it's in. So I know this was very popular, widely requested. It's pretty straightforward, but I want to see if there's any questions about this in the future. Marzal, looks like you have a question. You raised your hand. You can drop so if you have a question, just drop it in the chat. There is no way to move a task from one project to another. There isn't a way to pull up the client's view when you're meeting with the client yet. We do plan to have a way where you can view pulled up in your meetings. So how does the client access this? So this is the client's portal. So if you send the client a request, they'll be able to access it from the email or text notification. If you share a folder, if you ask about recats, they can access this portal from any of their notifications. But if they don't have any notifications, they can also access it from the portal access page. Which if you reach out to our support, like inside Financial Sense, you should be able to have a link to that page. But if you reach out to our support team, they'll be able to share that link with you. Yes, they would access this page with the client link. Yeah. Yeah, that would work, Ariel. All right, so that's one of the updates we pushed earlier this month that a lot of people really liked. It's been widely requested just to get that visibility to your clients. Now let's talk about one of the biggest updates we've done in a while, which is billing. This is something a lot of firms have been waiting for. And there's a lot of really good reasons, right? Why do you want your billing inside Financial Sense? One, it can help you consolidate your tech stack. We see a lot of accounting firms using a lot of different apps. Not only is that inefficient, but it costs money. So now you can move all the billing and invoicing into Financial Sense. You can also centralize firm operations. Now, when you're with less apps, not only does your team not have to switch between so many apps and so many tabs when they're working, but you don't have to train them on as many apps. It's a better client experience too. If you're using your client tasks or requests or folder sharing or transactions, which most firms are, your clients are already using our portal, right? And you don't want to have them to go to a different portal to view their payment methods, to view past invoices, to view what invoices are still owed. So you want one portal and one experience for the client. And that's the goal of what we're trying to create here at Financial Sense, and billing is a big step in that direction. As you can see here, right, in this portal, now your client can view all the requests, they can view all the folders that you've shared with them, they can communicate with you, they can answer uncategorized transactions, and they can view all their past paid invoices and invoices that are still overdue, as well as manage their payment methods. And outside of all of those benefits, another big benefit of moving billing inside of Financial Sense is the reporting. By integrating billing into your workflow, we can get much better reports into profitability, staff utilization, client utilization, project utilization, so you can better run your firm. But a lot of the reporting is not available yet. So that's going to be coming in the future. So I want to spend a little bit of time showing you the new billing feature. Real quick, drop it in the chat. Has anyone not tried the new billing feature yet? So this will be a good chance for all of you to take a look at this and see what it's all about. So I'm going to go to back to Financial Sense. So inside Financial Sense now, you're going to see a billing tab. And in this billing tab is where all the billing functionality is going to live. So the first thing you're going to see is invoicing. So here you can view all the different invoices you have, the different stages they're in, whether it's in draft, outstanding, what's been paid and what's overdue. You can click it to filter down if you want. And you have many other filters. You can filter for one time and recurring, statuses, and time period. Over here is create invoice. So if you want to invoice a client, you can click this. Now you may notice this is going to look a little similar to QuickBooks Online. We like to keep the design very familiar, so your team doesn't have to really learn how to use the new system. And we thought the way they did was pretty intuitive, but we just added more functionality to make it more powerful. So you'll be able to select the client you actually want to invoice. Let's choose Adam Collins for this example. Soon, but we don't have this yet, we will have invoice templates. You'll be able to choose one time or recurring invoices. So if it's just you're invoicing a client one time, you can create one time. But if it's like an engagement, you can actually set up a recurring invoice that will auto bill the client, let's say on the 1st of every single month or the 5th of every month. So if you click recurring, you can choose the recurring schedule. So I have this set up on the 1st of every month. We're going to invoice the client. Choose the date you want to start. So maybe let's say we'll start on the 1st of December. The due date and when you want the recurrences to end. So you could say, a year from now, or choose, or leave it blank so it never ends. Then down here you have your payment collection options. So for recurring, if you have a payment method on file, you can just select that payment method and auto charge and auto the client, so they don't actually have to go and pay it. You're immediately going to get paid once the invoice date happens. If you don't have a payment method on file, you can actually manually add that payment method to that client from here. Or if you don't have it, like the payment method on file, saved somewhere on a piece of paper, you could still send the invoice to the client. And then you can select to enable auto pay for future invoices. And what this will do is when that client pays that first recurring invoice, it's automatically going to save that payment method by default and then use that for future invoices. So the client doesn't have to pay all the future invoices over and over again. It's going to be automatic charge to the client. And then when you first send the invoice, you can have reminders for that invoice as well. So once you set up all the settings for the invoice, now you want to build the invoice out. So here you can choose the service items, which we integrate with QBO, so we can pull those QBO service items. You can use them to create the invoice. You can add multiple service items really easily. And then once you finish creating your invoice, before you send it to the client, you can preview it. You customize the message that's shown on the email. This is what it's going to look like. You can see what the PDF is going to look like, as well as get an example of what the payment page is going to look like. So once you've looked at it, you're comfortable with it, you can easily schedule it, because we're scheduling this for the future, right? It's not invoicing the client today. But if it was a one-time, you can actually send the invoice to the client. So it looks like there's a lot. So one other important thing about this is we integrate with QuickBooks Online. So we've always integrated with QBO for syncing your clients, syncing your time tracking, pulling in service items. But now with the QBO integration we'll do with billing is when you create an invoice and send it to a client, it's going to create that invoice inside of QuickBooks Online. And when that client pays the invoice, it is going to pay that invoice, show that invoice is paid inside QuickBooks Online. So we'll keep QuickBooks and Financial Sense in sync on invoicing and payments. So you don't have to, so you can still get the reporting out of QBO, and you don't have to go and update it in QBO when something is paid or when an invoice is sent. Okay, so there's quite a few questions. I'm going to go to the chat to answer some of these. Okay, Alice, I'll take note of that. Let's leave that. Will billing be available to all our clients? Do we need to have the upgrade version? So this is the thing about billing. It's included with all of the plans. If you're on the solo plan, team plan, or the scale plan, everyone has access to billing. There is no extra subscription cost for billing. The only cost to billing is the credit card and ACH fees, which you already pay with your current processor. And if you use QuickBooks Online, it's actually more affordable. So ACH is 1% with a $5 cap instead of QuickBooks, which is unlimited cap. And then credit card is 2.9%. But there's no extra subscription fee. You don't have to be on a specific plan. Everyone has access to billing at no additional charge. So Jasmine, we just made a recent update to where billing is not showing in the client portal until you've set up billing. So if you're not using billing inside Financial Sense, your clients won't see billing inside the portal anymore. Manual payments. So we do plan to have the ability to add manual payments really soon. So if you are creating an invoice inside of Financial Sense, you can mark it as paid if they're paying it via check or cash. Andrea, the reason you probably don't see the billing tab inside of Financial Sense is because you're an admin and not an owner. Only owners have access to the billing tab by default, but your owner can give you access with the user permission so you can view that tab. Let's see. We're using Rainforce as our payment processor. Yeah, the QuickBooks integration is very important. And we're going to go deeper on that, right? So if you're using QuickBooks Online right now for your billing, soon we're going to have a way for you to actually migrate all your invoices really easily. You'll be able to import one-time and report recurring invoices into Financial Sense. So if you don't have to recreate them in the system, and it's easy, very, very easy to migrate them in just a few clicks. But if you are actually interested in using billing inside of Financial Sense and you don't want to wait for that feature, you can still have our team migrate your invoices for you by clicking this migrate invoice and scheduling a call with them. They'll do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to go through the process of recreating the invoices inside of Financial Sense if you want to use billing in our system, but don't have the time to set it up. And then also, while you're doing that, we've made it very easy to collect the payment information from your clients in advance. So if you don't have payment methods on file, you can actually click this to view all the clients that don't have payments inside of methods inside of Financial Sense. You can select them, hit continue, choose the payment methods you want to request from them, and then customize the message that's sent to them. And then they'll get an email with a link. They click it, they add their payment method, and it adds it to their account. So then when you actually go to invoice your clients, all the payment methods are on file and your billing does not skip a beat. So we're adding a lot of tools to make it very easy to migrate from whatever solution you're using. And also our team can support you in that process. So when you set up the billing, you get to choose the bank account that it's going to get deposited to. ACH fees are 1% with a $5 max cap. So it's capped at $5. With the QBO integration, the invoices, when you send an invoice inside of Financial Sense, it'll create it inside of QBO under that client. And when the client pays the invoice inside of Financial Sense, it's going to mark it as paid in QBO. Yeah, so the payment method will be masked on your side for PCI compliance. So let me talk about some of the stuff that's coming in the future, because I'm seeing some questions about this. So credit card fees. One thing we're going to be doing in the future is actually having the ability to pass credit card fees on to your clients. That's a very popular feature that we hope to release soon. So if you want to have clients that like to pay credit cards because they like to get the rewards and the bonuses and the points, you can actually pass those credit card fees on to them. We're also, which I'll talk about in a second, having proposals with reporting, the ability to lock deliverables behind a paywall. So if you're doing a cleanup or a tax return, the client wouldn't be able to access those documents until they pay you, which helps with your accounts receivable and a lot of other really great features. You don't have to integrate with QuickBooks Online. That is just an option. A lot of people use QuickBooks Online for their bookkeeping business and they like to keep the invoices and payments in the same. But that is not required. So right now, with Rainforest, we don't offer billing in Canada. We could only operate in the United States, but we're working on getting Canada up and running by early next year. So it will be available for Canadian firms soon, but we just were not able to release it in the first version, unfortunately. Yes, Jennifer. So one big thing is now that billing is inside of Financial Sense, like the effective hourly rate report, where you can see like how much you're working or your profitability is going to get a lot more powerful. Not only are you going to be able to see like your effective hourly rate, but like maybe your effective profitability rate. So you can be able to factor in expenses and other things as well. David, so everything billing, the payment methods, it's all PCI compliant, so it's the highest level of security for payments. So Jennifer, you do not actually need to have a form now for authorized payments, given the way, so when I was creating the invoice, you can see, so let's just do like select a client. You can, so if I select send an invoice, enable auto pay for future invoices. This is basically like an authorized payment form. So when the client is actually paying the first invoice, there's going to be a statement underneath saying they're authorizing it for future payments by paying that invoice. And that's then going to save that method and use it for all future payments, save it on file where you can use it for the future recurrences, which will be done automatically, or other invoices as well. So Jennifer, right now, we don't have time-based billing. So right now, all of our invoicing is done on like fixed or recurring. In the next, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks, we plan to release our unbilled report, which I'll actually show you what that's gonna look like. So it's gonna look something like this. Around and don't ignore the numbers and how they don't match up here. These would total up. It's just a design, but you'll have an unbilled tab inside of Financial Sense under billing. And here you can view all the time entries that have not been billed for, as well as fixed fees and expenses. So fixed fee, hourly, and expenses that have not been billed for. You'll be able to select them and create invoices with them. So you can create an individual invoice for one item. You could select an entire client, or multiple clients and batch create invoices for your clients in this based off time, expenses, or unbilled fixed fees. And this is where a lot of the WIP reporting is going to be done. So that's all going to come in the WIP report in the next 4 to 6 weeks, but we don't have time-based billing at this second. Passing on credit card fees will be available soon. We haven't actually released that just yet. Also, one thing about this report, when you bill off time, you'll be able to lock time entries as well. I know that's a big thing a lot of people have been wanting, so time entries will be lockable. So we don't have fixed budget amount for projects yet, only time-based. But with this functionality and billing, that's something we're gonna be able to add in the future. Okay, so I showed you a little bit of the billing functionality. Now I want to show you what proposals is going to look like, because invoicing is great, but you also want a professional proposals that is deeply tied with your invoicing and your work. So soon, you can actually, if you're inside Financial Sense, let's go back, you go to the billing tab, you can watch a video on the new proposals feature that's coming and get on the wait list. But I'm going to give you a sneak peek into it, because this is the feature a lot of people are excited about. So soon inside Financial Sense, our goal is to release this in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Let's put it with. So you'll be able to see a proposals tab, and here you'll be able to view all your active or all your proposals, no matter what stage they're in, right? And you can see the total dollar amount of those proposals and how many there are. You can filter down, but let me show you how you actually create a proposal. And what's really cool too is you can see, like, if you send them when it was last opened by the client, and really have a lot of visibility. But now let me show you like what the proposal creation process is going to look like, what you're actually going to be able to do with it, because it's really cool. So let's click create new proposal. Here, you'll be able to start creating the proposal. You select the client you want to send it to, give it a name, who's going to sign, when the proposal should start, whether it's on acceptance or a specific date. You can select a templated introduction for that type of proposal, and even drop in a video. Really want to personalize it. Then you build out the services that you're offering in the proposal. So let's just say we're going to do one-off and recurring. So you can choose whether it's one-off or recurring or both, and then select the service element. So one important thing to know here is like you can build in both one-time and recurring into a single proposal. So for example, maybe you're doing a one-off cleanup, but then after that, you're doing recurring bookkeeping services. You can put both those in the proposal, and it's going to send that one-time invoice for the cleanups. And then it's going to have that recurring invoice going that's scheduled for the actual monthly bookkeeping process. Then once you finish building out the services package, which you can customize, so like you'll be able to pull from your service items, but you can actually customize the what it's the actual service description without it affecting in the library. So it can be like customized to that client. So then let's go continue. Then you go choose what payment methods you want them to pay with for the proposal when they sign and make it required. And then the terms. So this is the engagement, right? This is where you outline your terms. We're going to try to put together some great default terms for everyone, but if you have your own terms, you can upload them in or copy and paste them into here. And then, make this a little smaller. You can preview the invoice before you send it. So let me show you what that's actually going to look like on the client side. So inside for the client, they're going to get an email notification asking them to sign the proposal. They'll be able to view the proposal here. They can see the video that you had. They can also read the introduction message. They can see all the services as well as what's included in that service, the descriptions and how much it's going to cost. And then here, they can add their payment method and then sign the proposal. And I want to be clear, you do not need Adobe sign for this. It's completely separate. They'll be able to easily sign, accept the terms, and then that creates signs the proposal, kicks in effect, will generate the invoices, and also soon actually create the client inside Financial Sense and generate the work related to those service items. So if it was a cleanup service item and monthly bookkeeping service item, it'll create those projects automatically inside of Financial Sense for that client. So it not only will it automatically create all the billing once they sign the proposal, but it'll also automatically create the work and assign it to your team, which is going to be really powerful with some of those automations. And if I have it here, I actually want to show you too, the mobile version. I don't know if I have it yet. Okay, this is still in work, but we just started working on this. I want to show you what this looks like. So the proposal is also going to be mobile friendly. So it's going to look something like this. Your client will be able to see how many steps, the video, the introduction. They can see the services, just like before. They'll be able to choose the payment method and then sign the invoice. So it's also going to be mobile friendly, which we know a lot of clients, they're on the go, they use their phones to help you get those proposals signed faster. And here's the best part. This proposal functionality is free. It is included in the solo plan. It is included in the team plan. It's included in the scale plan at no extra cost. So you don't have to pay extra for it. You're consolidating it all in one place. You're automating the admin work for creating the invoicing. You're automating the admin work for adding the clients and creating the work completely free. So we have a lot of questions. Let's go back. So in terms of funds, credit card is next day. ACH is 4 days, and it's business days. So next business day for credit card, 4 business days for ACH. So the proposal, yes, it will have your firm's branding. They'll be able to sign on mobile devices, phone or iPad. So Chelsea, proposals and billing, there is no extra cost. If you're on the solo plan, you'll be able to use proposals and billing on the solo plan. There will be a PDF copy. That is correct. We don't have mobile app on the firm side for time tracking and workflow is something we want to do in the future, but it's not any time on the foreseeable future right now because we're really focused on building the best web app version. But we are in the meantime still focused on making Financial Sense more mobile responsive. So you can still do a lot of the actions inside of FC on your team side from your phone. Yes, if they sign the proposal, it's gonna create the invoice inside of Financial Sense and automatically start billing them on that monthly recurring schedule. Engagement letters will be available and it will not require Adobe signatures. You'll be able to have the proposal, the engagements, and signatures all within Solo, Team, and Scale. So we also do plan to have proposals templates and invoice templates to make it easy just to use as template and proposal or invoice. Okay, so I have a question now. We talked a little bit about the billing and the proposals, and I'm curious. I'm gonna stop my screen share real quick. I'm gonna launch a poll. Okay, save this. I'm gonna launch this. I'm curious, with what you're seeing, are you planning on moving your billing to Financial Sense? Also, if you guys have any other questions while this poll is running, please drop it in the chat. It looks like there might be some more Q&A. We already answered that one. Our goal for Canada is to release billing early next year, so within the first half. Okay, now I want to drop some questions in the chat. So well, actually, let me read these first before we fill the chat up with some more answers. Carter, we haven't decided yet on that, but it's something we're looking at. So real quick, drop it in the chat. Why are you interested? Why are you interested in using billing inside of Financial Sense? What is the value you think you would get from it? Why do you think it's worth it to migrate? Everything in one place. Okay. I'm gonna use another app. Auto reminders. PBO is frustrating, that's for sure. Time saving. Okay, so a lot of people that are interested in using billing inside of Financial Sense. Now I'm curious about the people that said they're probably not going to migrate their billing. Is there a reason why you want to keep your billing where it is instead of migrate it over to Financial Sense? Drop that in the chat. Why are you going to stay with your current billing platform instead of migrate to Financial Sense? Is Financial Sense missing something? You're using it the way. Is there a specific reason for that? Go through Upwork. Billing is done at the company level. So if we can pass on credit card ACH fees. That's it. Okay, perfect. So now I have another question. Um, of everything you've seen today, like, or even what's coming in the future. So the main key function I we're talking about is proposals. Actually, I'm gonna do a poll for this. Do another poll. I just want to better understand your needs. Uh, the proposals, pass these on to clients, log deliverables. Okay, so now I'm gonna launch a new poll. I'm curious, what stands out to you most with the billing functionality? Proposals, ability to pass credit card fees on to clients, lock deliverables behind a paywall, reporting, maybe something else. Um, I want to know like what gets you excited about it, what makes it worth it. Okay, looks like proposals is the big one. 63% of people. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna go to in this poll. All right, I believe I got through all the questions. If I didn't get to your question, drop it in the chat real quick. I want to cover one other thing. So again, if you are actually interested in using Financial Sense billing functionality, there's a few things we're doing to make it a very seamless transition for you. We don't want, we understand like migrating billing can be tough. So if you need help migrating your invoicing or getting it all set up, our team will do it completely free of charge. We'll do all the heavy lifting. We'll recreate all the invoices in our system. We can even input all the payment methods potentially. You can, to get this help, you'll see in the billing tab something called migrate invoices up here. Click that and schedule a call with their team and they'll do all the heavy lifting for you. Soon, we're also going to integrate with QBO to recreate all your invoices inside of QuickBooks Online, inside of Financial Sense, with just a few clicks. You can select the invoices you want to import, and that will make it easy to migrate. But for now, it needs to be done by your team. However, if you don't use QuickBooks Online, use desktop or something else, our team can help migrate it through the migration services. Also, payment method migration. If you don't have them on file and you or a team can't manually enter them because of that, we have this request payment methods from your clients. You can see all the clients that don't have payment methods, select them, and easily request payment methods to our secure portal. And then that will save them on file and make it very easy. Where you'll also have the ability to also send them a message about how you're switching their billing and you need their payment methods. So we try to make this as easy as possible if you're interested in actually making that switch. I'm going to go back to the chat to see if there was any more or less questions. So yes, when you do set up payments, you have the ability to choose a starting invoice number, and the invoices in QBO will show FC as a prefix to help you identify which invoices are coming from FC. All the invoices and payments are automatically synced with QBO. And soon what we're actually going to do is we're going to have a new column here called QuickBooks, and you'll be able to see which invoices are synced or not synced. And if they're not synced, you can see why. but all invoices should automatically sync with QBO once you do the migration. So everything is in sync. But yeah, it is let's talk about it. It is a one-way sync. So when you do the migration with Financial Sense, you're importing your invoices into Financial Sense, so you don't have to recreate them one by one. But after that, the sync is to QBO, right? So if you create a new invoice inside of QBO, it won't automatically show up in our system, or if there's a payment made in QBO, it won't show up in our system. But if there's an invoice created inside of Financial Sense or a payment made on that invoice in Financial Sense, it is created and showed as paid inside of QBO. It's a one-way sync to QBO after the migration. The migration is a one-way sync into Financial Sense to create all the invoices and migrate your billing. Right now, it's only going to sync with QBO, but we do eventually have Xero integration. We do plan to do the same. You will have the option to choose which clients. So by default, you're going to turn it on. If you turn it on, it'll turn on for all clients. But you can go into each individual client and choose whether or not you want to pass on the credit card fees and customize it on a client by client basis. Abdullah, I know you're in the chat. Did you answer Tawana's question? Will we be able to allow 2 signatures for the proposal? I don't know the answer to that, Tawana, but Abdullah might. And if not, it's something we might have to discuss a little bit more with the team. You do have the ability to apply discounts to invoices and edit invoices as well. So Tawana, I don't know if you saw Abdullah's message. Right now, you can only have 1 signatory. But if it's important, we can always make that change. Okay, so I believe we got through most of the questions. If I did miss your question, please drop it in the go to the website, go to the app, chat with our team. They should be able to help with any other questions around billing. Again, if you're interested in using billing inside of Financial Sense, schedule a call with our team, or just go to the billing tab, test it out yourself. It is live, and start invoicing your clients. But again, I'm excited about this feature. We have a ton of new updates coming over the next 2 months, proposals and time-based billing and web reporting, hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So you should see it all before the end of the year. But if you have any questions, you know how to reach us. On that note, I want to thank everyone for joining the monthly recap this month. And I'll see you next month. Take care, everyone.